Welcome outside of historic Memorial Coliseum. Katie, it's a new era of Kentucky women's basketball, and we saw that tonight. Nobody beats the Cats 8 times in a row. Kentucky wins 71-61 in overtime over the number 18 Louisville Cardinals. Katie, it was a back-and-forth game all night long. Went to overtime. Deja Lawrence misses 2 free throws at the end of regulation. I'm thinking, oh boy, Louisville's just going to win in overtime. But no, Kenny Brooks does Kenny Brooks things. We win by double digits. Katie, just how awesome was that game?
Honestly, to be down by 7 at one point in the third quarter and come out winning by 10 was just like a dream come true. I was just telling Phoenix that I love games like this where you kind of don't know who's going to win and then your team wins. And it's the best feeling ever because it was such a good game going back and forth the entire time.
You know, Kentucky probably should have lost this game. And here's the funny thing. In the post-game press conferences, Jeff Walls, he kind of said that. He was like, we gave the damn game away. That's verbatim. That's, sorry for the language, sorry for my French. That's just how he said it. That's what he said. You know, Louisville, they came, and I thought they played really well. I thought Louisville played good. Kentucky, they came out, they played sloppy. Georgia Amor, Tiani Key, turning the ball over. We had, I think, over 24 turnovers. Katie, this is, I feel like the odds were, I get it. Kentucky had the home court advantage, but it felt like the odds were kind of stacked against Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, like, to walk into Memorial and see all the people there, see the crowd, see the energy, or hear the energy and feel it, like, it felt really good. But when you get out, when they start playing, and you see, like, oh my gosh, Georgia's not having a great game, Clara Strack's not having a great game, like, what are we going to do? We're going to get embarrassed. And luckily that's not what happened because, I mean, as we know, Kentucky is able to adjust when they need to, and thankfully that's what happened.
I'd like you to point out the adjustment. Kentucky came in. I don't know if Kenny was just kind of feeling it out early or what was going on, but, early in the game it seemed like we were playing stall ball a little bit, and we were just kind of trying to feed it to the post, and that wasn't working. And, it turned into Georgia Amor trying to ISO. Well, then Louisville doubles, Louisville presses. They do what Louisville does. It's Jeff Wall's defense. And, this is a criticism of Kenny Brooks. Maybe my first one since he's been here. What was that play at the end of the half with Georgia?
That was very clearly not what was intended. I don't think that he would ever draw that. Like, I don't think that it just didn't work, I don't think.
I think he drew it up, and it kind of reminds me of another coach who was here before. But we're going to move on. We don't need to talk about that guy. Katie, again, Kentucky just came out weird. But after the half, it felt like Kentucky made the necessary adjustments. Now, I'm not smart enough to know what necessarily that was. But Katie, is back and forth game still. You're going back and forth. Deja Lawrence, she misses 2 key free throws, right? To make it a 2-possession game. Louisville goes back and ties it. But how about, I believe it was in overtime, Deja Lawrence, causes some havoc defensively. She's not even known for her defense. And then she goes and scores on offense and gives Kentucky a lead. And I think from then on, it was all Cats.
You talk about Deja Lawrence's defense. She was on Amari Berry. Amari Berry is a player that Kenny Brooks tried to recruit when he first came to Kentucky before the season. She comes in the game, immediately drains 3 3-pointers back to back to back. I mean, like, those were the 3 Louisville makes in a row. Deja was on her, and I just remember thinking, like, okay, you have to put your best defender on her because she's going to shoot and it's going to go in. But Kenny kept Deja on her, and I'm wondering if he had more faith in her than I did, and she didn't make another 3 that entire game.
Right, Amari Berry, it's like you just said, she was recruited by Kentucky, went to Louisville. Super talented player. She had, in Louisville's first 3 games, I think. I could be wrong. I'm forgetting things. I think in Louisville's first 3 games, she didn't really do a ton. Led the team in rebounding, but scoring-wise, she hadn't really done it. She broke through tonight. And so Amari Berry should be a really good piece for Louisville moving forward, actually. But, I just like to think about, go Cats!
Go Cats!
We have a go Cats. There we go. I just like to think about, Kentucky, Louisville's so talented. And they took it basically down to the wire with UCLA, and Kentucky came out on top. But, Katie, it couldn't be done without Amelia Stone Cold Hassett. I mean, clutch free throw after clutch free throw, clutch rebound after clutch rebound. I'm so proud of her. like I'm saying that like she needs me to be proud of her. But Katie, just how about Amelia Hassett tonight?
I mean, I'm thinking back to her stats. I believe she had 11 rebounds and I think 8 or 9 points. So no double-double. But the way that when I think about it and when I remember it, it feels like she ran the entire game. Like, she played about 35 minutes, I believe. And, I mean, that girl hustles. She hustles more than anybody I have ever seen, I think. I think she is, like, the hustler. I think that she proved herself today. Even Georgia even said that in the press conference, that Amelia proved herself in a way that Georgia hadn't seen yet. And I think just being able to know that you can count on one of your players is so huge, especially in a game as big as this. So to know how much she cares and how much effort she puts in is like, I mean, it has to be a confidence booster for the entire team.
Oh, I imagine. A big confidence booster for the team and for Amelia as an individual.
Yeah.
I mean, her last few games, she's been kind of rough offensively. Great rebounder, great, defensively. But just putting the ball in the hoop, it hasn't been there. And and again, she scored 9 points, what you said?
Yeah, I think 8 or 9.
I think 9. Either way, not a ton. But she makes those free throws.
When they count.
When they count. I mean, Amelia Hassett, coming from Eastern Florida State College, if it weren't for the Florida, I wouldn't know where in the crap that place is. Eastern Florida State, from there to the SEC, playing against number 18 Louisville, she's made a very, very smooth transition, and she played her butt out tonight.
Yeah, she definitely did. And speaking of people who played their butt out, I mean, Georgia Amore played 45 minutes tonight. That is every single second of the game Georgia stayed in. And to have a player who is as conditioned as her, even though she made a lot of mistakes tonight, and she admitted that, just to know that you have players conditioned that way. And I think Tiani Key played about 40 minutes. I think Deja Lawrence played about 40 minutes. Clara Strack, I think, played 43 or something crazy. Like, Kenny kept his starting 5 in the game for almost the entire game. I think he put in Clara Silva, who didn't play all that much, and Cassidy Rowe. And those were the only 2 subs. Or Lexi Blue, too. So he had 3 subs the entire game. And that was it. So he has like his solid 5 that he's going to go to no matter what.
And I will say, I don't know if I love that moving forward.
Yeah.
I think you need to have a deeper rotation, a deeper team. You need to have a more solid group. But, I think tonight, look, you got the job done.
Yeah.
You won by 10. You beat Louisville. You did what you had to do.
I guess in this circumstance, you do want to keep your 5 best players in. And Silva wasn't having the best night. I forgot to ask about that in the press conference, but she went in, she was a little stagnant. It wasn't, she wasn't very productive, and so I think today was just an off day for her, but hopefully we see more from her.
And someone who I thought kind of had an off day but ended up playing really well for, in some ways, Tiani Key.
Yeah.
She had 17 points, 5 blocks, 9 rebounds, if I'm remembering right.
Mm-hmm.
Just Katie, Tonight, I had a very strong love-hate relationship with Tiani Key. Not that I hate Tiani Key. That's not what I'm saying. But Katie, it felt like she did so much good, and then she would, maybe miss a shot that she probably should have made, or she turned the ball over, and it just felt like, oh, come on, Tiani. And then in overtime, she gets the rebounds, she scores, and she helps propel Kentucky over the top.
Yeah, there were definitely a few wide-open looks that didn't go in. There were definitely more than a few turnovers from her, but she went into overtime with 4 fouls, and she played all 5 minutes of overtime and didn't foul once, and she made some very, very good defensive moves, and she had a block, I believe, that kind of prevented Louisville from getting the lead back. It was just, she played very smart, she played very steady. It's clear that she is like the calm and collected player on the team. Of course, you have other calm players, other players who can keep themselves steady in high-pressure situations. But when it comes to being clutch and when it comes to making those free throws and making those defensive stops, I think that she really proved herself today.
Now, Katie, just kind of drifting away from the X's and O's and going to the big picture things. How about historic Memorial Coliseum? How about that crowd? Sold out, jam-packed, with a roof. I thought we need new renovations again. I thought it was like, well, time to rebuild Memorial again, because I thought the nails and the hinges holding this place together about to fall apart. Katie just, Kenny Brooks in the postgame press conference, when he's talking about the UK-Louisville rivalry, he said, this is, we play Louisville in the ACC championship game. Mm-hmm. And this crowd it rivaled that, and it may have even passed it. Just he said it's different when it's red versus blue. Kenny Brooks gets it, and to be honest, he's not from Kentucky. He didn't play here, and he comes in here and it's like, well, does he really get what this is about?
Yeah.
Like, he's a great coach, but does he understand? Katie, he understands.
I mean, and he talks about Memorial Coliseum and the BBN were some of the biggest things that attracted him to this job. So he understood the rivalry. I think he knew that Kentucky, on the men's side, has been a historically good basketball team. And he wanted to come in and change that on the women's side. And so for him to make such a big impact on this team in such a short amount of time, that he sold out Memorial Coliseum, his 4th game as a coach here, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about because he's going to be such a difference maker for this program now, tomorrow, a year from now, 30 years from now. He is going to go down in history, I think, as one of the best Kentucky women's basketball coaches to ever grace the floor. That's all I have to say.
That almost made me cry. Now, Katie, I warned you about this. You want to hold my mic for just a second?
Sure.
If you can't read my shirt, that says Louisville sucks. Louisville sucked yesterday, Louisville sucks now, and Louisville is going to suck forever, Katie. Kentucky beats Louisville 71-61 here in historic Memorial Coliseum. They say media is supposed to come, it's supposed to be professional. Louisville sucks, and that's the way it's going to stay. Katie, big night, big win, big crowd, big energy. There's a lot of momentum moving forward. Just before we get out of here, do you have anything to say?
Gosh, I am just so excited for this upcoming season. We got Illinois in a couple weeks. We got SEC play coming up in, about a month. It's very exciting times here, and I think that the fans are also very excited, which is super encouraging.
You all see it. It's on my shirt. We saw it with the scoreboard. Louisville sucks. All right, I'm Phoenix Stevens. This is Katie Hutchison. We are going to get back. We're going to write, and we're going to keep bringing you this content. By the way, I just want to shout out our podcast. We're going to have a pretty good episode coming next week.
Yeah.
Or what day is it? What day are we on? Saturday. So, yeah, next week.
I also just want to shout out Phoenix's boldness for screaming Louisville sucks as the entire Louisville coaching staff walks right beside us.
What can I say?
I love it.
I just tell truth. All right. So, yeah, guys, big win, big night. Louisville sucks.
See, he got quiet.
I did get quiet. All right, anyway, we're going to wrap this up, Katie. Just huge game, huge night.
Huge game.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see where Kentucky's ranked next week.
Definitely.
Can't wait to see what the poll looks like. All right, thank you guys for tuning into our rapid reaction. Louisville sucks. Nobody beats Kentucky 8 times in a row. We'll see you all next time.